Okay, we're back at a power outage here, believe it or not. We are back up and running. I'm not sure what's happened in the meantime, but we are back up here ready to roll. So we still see our leaders are still Jason Kinger. He's still, excuse me, he's still leading around. Chad Sosnowski, Brian Zinn, and Daniel McElvey. Although Daniel's fallen back to about 7 seconds back of that pack now. So Daniel on the verge of falling into the clutches of Lemke and Co behind, but see if he's able to. He might actually be beneficial to fall back to Lemke and see if the two of them can work together to close down that gap up ahead to the leaders, but we'll see how it plays out. We've got just over halfway through this, or just under halfway through this one, sorry. But still got plenty of time to go. Still a lot of strategy can play out on this one. We'll see again whether Daniel McElvey falls back to Brian Lemke, play that strategy out or not as the race goes on. So check back in on the battle for, I guess that's P7 now. Mark Miller holding down that spot. He's got Wesley Bryce, Rowan Bykoff, Kelly Greenhoe behind him. Corey Mitchell starting to close down the gap on these guys, working with Ty Johnson behind. They're making their way back up. Corey in 10th spot, still holding on to that position as it is. They've got that gap down to about 3.3 seconds now to Kelly Greenhoe up ahead. Like Ty Johnson's also closed the gap on the back of Corey as they challenge their way up through the field, charge their way up through the field, sorry. Tyler Nevin's not too far back of these two as well. He's sniffing a little behind here in P12. And in between battles, he's got Derek Tyndall 8 seconds back, and then Ty Johnson is about 5 seconds just up ahead of them. So trying to get everything back up and loaded here. We'll jump back up on the leaders, see what's going on here. Still status quo for the top three. Sosnowski's still holding on to second spot. We'll see if they're a little bit of a fuel savings game being played here by Sosnowski and Zinn. They could be just maintaining second and third spot, trying to lift and coast as much as they can, save as much fuel. Jump on board with Sosnowski now here and see if he lifts a little bit into turn one. Oh, we see Kinger duck into the pits. So if there was any fuel savings going on by Sosnowski by lifting and coasting, that's going to eliminate that, as our leader Jason Kinger is going to come into the pits. He's followed by a whole slew of cars. We've got Brian Lemke, Mark Miller, Wesley Bryce, Rowan Bykoff, Kelly Greenhoe all into the pits. Corey Mitchell. See a vast majority of our top three coming into the pits. Sosnowski and Zinn. Our top three Porsches in the field around for another lap. So what if the Porsches are getting a little better fuel mileage out there? They're able to capitalize and do that with one extra lap. So we'll see how that plays out. I suspect they will probably be in on the next lap. And we'll see how they cycle through when they come out of the pit stops. Chad Sosnowski leading the way now. Jason Kinger back out on track. He's going to come back out in 5th spot. Not a whole lot of loss for Kinger heading in. The top three had opened up a fairly large gap over the rest of the field. See Corey Mitchell back on track. Let's see if we can pick up. Oh, Ty Johnson stayed out for another lap, so we'll have to wait another lap to see how that battle cycles through. But Corey was able to catch up to the back of Kelly Greenhoe. He was about 3 seconds back heading into that pit stop. He's come out 1.6 seconds back of Kelly Greenhoe. Corey's always been a great driver at saving fuel, so like Corey was able to save a little bit of fuel, have a little shorter pit stop there. Close that gap. Corey's pit stop was a 54.6 to Kelly's 56.8, so there's where 2 seconds was garnered there for Mitchell. We'll be able to see if that Corvette has enough fuel on it though to chase down the Acuras up ahead. If he can get into the draft, that'll allow him to save some fuel. See our leaders into the pits. Sosnowski's in, McElvey, Johnson all in there. Pick up Jason Kinger as he's on the banking now. We'll see where he cycles through. You see Kinger about to head past pit entry. Sosnowski and company exiting out of pit lane. We should see Kinger come by there. You can see Kinger in the background. Is he going to have enough to get back into P1? He is. There he goes. And Jason Kinger is going to take back over P1. So the extra lap fuel savings didn't turn out to amount to anything for the three Porsches of Sosnowski, Zinn, and McElvey. Although for McElvey, it's allowed him to gain back up on the tail end of Brian Zinn. So he should be back in that draft battle for top 3 spots on the podium. Here we got Kent Kruger. He's got John Cooper just ahead of him. That's a battle for 16th spot. Kent trying to make a move. Kent would have used his fast repair on during his pit stop. Looks at the front of that Acura back in tip-top shape. They've got our pole sitter Jeremy Littleton just ahead of them. Jeremy back up into 15th spot. We saw him as far down as 25th, so he's able to recoup 10 spots, still down a number of spots from where he started. Not the race that Jeremy wanted to have, but he's making the most of it at this point. Check back in here on Kent Kruger trying to make a move on John Cooper. John's got a mirror full of Big Dog Racing behind him. Let's jump in the cockpit with Kent and see what he's having a look at up ahead. Looks like Coop getting a strong run onto the oval. See how you just see how much the banking is in that oval as the car just tilts on its side here. So these guys are able to go full steam all the way around, full throttle through, heading into the bus stop. We'll see if Kruger's able to brake a little later to close that gap up. Like similar brake markers for the two of them. Coop's able to hold on to that gap as it is now. Big Dog's gonna have to try and fight his way around. Just behind Kent, we've got Arthur Arrhenius. Arthur currently up 2 spots from where he qualified. He's into 18th spot. He's got Chris Gargano behind him. Chris in the McLaren trying to chase down the Porsche of Arthur Arrhenius. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but that's what we're going with up ahead. A little further back, we got a battle here between Greg Brockway and Mark Sherman. That's for 21st spot. Brockway in the purple and chrome Corvette diving into turn 1. He's going to make that move around Mark Sherman, but he's going to go a little wide. Sherman's going to take that spot back. Casey carried just Brockway carried just a hair too much speed into that corner. That's going to cost him. The two of them are trying to catch John Casey up ahead. John in the blue and chrome colored Corvette. I'm tripping all over myself here. That is a Corvette, although it may look like a Ferrari to many. Similarly designed with the new C8 model, as they took a lot of design cues from the Ferraris of old. Jason Kinger now open up 1.5 seconds over Sosnowski in second place. Kinger starting to gap out Sosnowski in second on Sosnowski with 1.3 seconds over Zinn. Zinn's got a battle on his hand with Daniel McElvey for a final spot on the podium, as Daniel's got a lap car of Oz Exulu in between them. He's going to make a move around Oz. That's going to help Zinn out a little bit. Zinn opens up a couple tenths now between he and McElvey, as McElvey had to take an extra second or two to navigate around the lap car. We got Wesley Bryce leading this pack now between P6 and P10. Wesley being chased by Roman Bykoff. Roman trying to make a move. He's got around Mark Miller. Mark Miller down to P8 now. He's got Kelly Greenhoe and Corey Mitchell behind him. Kelly Greenhoe looking at the back tailpipes of Miller's car. Oh, Kelly drives it deep into that corner. He's going to close that gap up. See Mitchell and Johnson in the back of the picture. They've now closed up on this pack. So we got from P6 all the way back to P11 in this battle. Nice tight battle there for final spots in the top 10. We're down to the final 15 minutes of this one. Final 15 minutes. Time for our drivers to make their moves. Josh Shep and Derek Tyndall battling it out for 12th place. Tyndall in the lone. Is he the lone Mustang out there tonight? He is the lone representative of the Ford camp. Out here is Derek Tyndall in the Mustang up ahead. He's got the turbo snail paint scheme of Josh Shep in the Porsche behind him. These two have been pretty much in this position from the start of the race. So it's been a 30-minute long battle between the two of them. They're battling it out for 12th spot currently. Jonathan Cooper catching up to the back of Mark Bray up ahead now. Coops managed to find a little bit of pace between he and Kent Kruger behind. He's opened up 1.7, 1.8 seconds now to Kent Kruger in behind. He's now trying to chase down Mark Bray up ahead. We see Mark here in the nicely painted up Porsche, like that chrome red with the white and the tribal kind of theme paint job. Nicely done. I approve of that, Mark. Nice paint job. He's got a mirror full of Coop. Coop trying to make a move around the inside now into turn 1. So he's going to get it done. That's going to move Jonathan Cooper up into the top 15, into P15. Nice move there by Coop, up 4 spots on the day. Kent Kruger now having to deal with Chris Gargano on his rear bumper. Kent's went from battling for 16th spot to now trying to defend 17th place. Chris been trying to harness all the top gear energy that he can out of that McLaren. He's a little Jeremy Clarkson and a little less Richard Hammond wrecking. So we see back on board here with Brian Lemke. Saw him break away from that pack behind him, and I'm not sure if it was necessarily all that beneficial for him. He's kind of stuck in purgatory now in P5. He's got 13 seconds up to Daniel McElvey ahead, and he's got 4 seconds back to that battle that we saw moments ago from 6th to 11th place. So Lemke doesn't have a draft partner to work with to try and close that gap, but he also is solidly in P5, so it's a little bit of 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, I guess, for Lemke. But I'm sure he'll take a strong top 5 here tonight. But check back in on this battle. We got the 6 cars battling it out from P6 to P11 here. Wesley Bryce still leading the way. And Roman Bykov hot on his tailpipe, though. Porsche leading around 3 Acuras. And we got the Corvette of Corey Mitchell and the Porsche of Ty Johnson. We're getting close to the 10-minute to go mark here. Getting down to the nitty-gritty. This battle's still raging on for 3rd spot between Zinn and Daniel McElvey. Zinn holding on to it for now. Well, he's fallen 1.2 seconds back of Sosnowski. That gap was a little bigger a few laps ago, so Zinn's been able to close that down a little bit, but Jason Kinger, now our leader, opened up 1.5 seconds over 2nd place Chad Sosnowski. So the McLaren really starting to stretch its legs further on in the race here. McElvey looking strong on the back tailpipe of Zinn. You see Zinn just up ahead. Not driving overly defensive. Still maintaining pretty standard race lines there. Zinn must be feeling pretty confident that McElvey isn't going to try and send one up his inside. Still got a number of laps to go, so should be fairly confident. It looks like something's happened to Oz Exulu. Let's see what happened here. Yeah, Oz was a lap down in the Ferrari, heading back onto the banking. Oh, he's carrying a little too much speed in there, I think. Gonna lose the back end. There it goes. Yeah, I think he just had a little too much speed in there and the car was just sliding the whole way. Unfortunate for him, but keeps it off the wall, gets it gathered back together, and away he goes. Oh, Kent Kruger had a bit of an off-track excursion. Let's see what happened to Kent here. The Gargano got around him. Kent trying to stay with him into the bus stop. Oh no, Kent hits the wall. Off goes his front bonnet. He hits the iRacing, toss it back on, but that's an unfortunate incident for Kent. That's going to cost him a ton of speed there. That's definitely not the way the big dogs want to finish up his race here tonight, but sometimes you can't avoid those things. Arthur Remus had a bit of an issue here too as well, where we're going through some incidents. Let's see what happened to Arthur. Could be similar to what we saw happen to Oz moments ago, and it is. A little too much throttle heading onto the curb. Keeps it off the wall though, able to spin around, get back on track. The only thing hurt there was his pride. McElvey still holding on to the tailpipe of Zinn. Zinn holding him off for now. Sosnowski closing down that gap to Kinger a little bit. That last lap, he's got it down to 8/10 now. Was Sosnowski holding back a little bit, trying to conserve tires here? We'll see if he's got anything for Kinger in the last 8.5 minutes or so of this race. Check back in our battle for 6th spot. Wesley Bryce still leading the way. Bykoff in 7th. Miller in 8th. Greenhoe in 9th. Corey Mitchell still trying to find a way to catch up to the back of Kelly Greenhoe up ahead. He's trying to hold off Ty Johnson too as well. Those two look like they've been working together for the most part of the race, trying to catch up to that gap, close that gap between the cars up ahead. Looks like the Corvette and the Porsche might just not have enough top end speed to make a move on Kelly Greenhoe up ahead. Kelly holding down P9. Nice solid top 10 finishing spot right now for Kelly if he can hold on to that position. See Wesley Bryce leading that pack up. They're coming around to the lap car of Oz Exulo. See if they're able to navigate around him fairly quickly. They head on to the banking section now. We'll see if Oz ducks off to the side. He's going to go high and let them through. Nicely done. Thank you very much, Oz. Gentleman and a scholar. Let our drivers battle through there. So they're going to head down into turn 1. To the battle. Heading out through there. Our drivers still trying to find a way to move up positions. Wesley Bryce holding on to the P6 in this battle. And we've got about 6.5 minutes to go in this one. 6.5. Sosnowski now half a second between he and Kinger. Sosnowski is coming. I'm not sure if Kinger's had to pull back a little bit to save some fuel. Quite possibly did not take enough fuel load, as his pit stop was only a 53.7 to Sosnowski's 54.3. Half a second difference between them there. See if Kinger has enough fuel load to make it to the end. I know the McLaren isn't necessarily one of the best fuel mileage cars out there where the Porsche is. This could come down to the last lap. Stay tuned. There's still more to see here in this race. Check back in on Zinn and McElvey. Still status quo. Zinn holding down final spot on the podium. McElvey still sitting there waiting. Could be planning for a last lap maneuver here. About to see how that plays out. Pole sitter Jeremy Littleton up into 13th spot now after falling all the way back into 25th. He's got Josh Sheps just ahead of him. Josh up 12 spots in the day into P12. Nice run for Josh so far. As they head into the bus stop, I suspect Jeremy will get around Josh onto the oval section here, as it looks like he's carrying a lot more speed than the Porsche up ahead. Corey Mitchell holding down final spot in the top 10, up 11 spots on the day. Nice run for Corey so far. Ty Johnson just behind him, up 17 positions from where he qualified into P11. Strong run for those two cars right now. See, our biggest mover on the day. Actually, it looks like my plus and minuses have been thrown off a little bit by the power outage we had, so I can't really base that on. So can't say I didn't think Corey started so far back, so we're gonna deduct his 11 positions gain that we just threw at him. We're gonna take him back, snatch him back from Corey, and we're gonna worry about that later on. But Roman Bykoff still looking at the tailpipes of Mark Miller. Not much changing here the last few laps within our top 15. Pretty status quo on this one, although Sosnowski's got that gap down to 0.2 now with 4 minutes to go. That's going to give us probably about 3 laps. Sosnowski making a move into turn 1. He's able to do it. Let's see, could Kinger have had to relinquish that position to try and use the draft to Sosnowski to field save to the end? So here we go. Sosnowski now our leader. He's got Kinger in P2 behind him. Zinn in third, McElvey in fourth. Zinn now 1 second back of Kinger. If they can close that gap down to about 8/10, they can start to utilize the draft of that lead pair up ahead. Sosnowski driving it like he has no fuel concerns at all, full throttle out of every corner. So we'll see if he's able to hold it. Oh no, Brian Lemke has had an issue. Let's see what happened to Lemke. Heading through the kink. Is he going to lose the back end? Oh, the back end just going to come around on him. Holds it, gathers it up, gets going. I don't even think he lost a spot. Or he might have lost one. That's about it. Well, I had said Lemke was in purgatory at one point in time. He had nobody ahead of him to draft with, nobody behind to battle with, but that's all changed. Lemke now back into P6. That promotes Bryce up into P5. Sosnowski leading the way as they're heading around to finish up this lap. Let's see, Barney's not waving the white flag yet, so we've got still 2 more laps to go in this one. Sosnowski holding on to it for now. Kinger tucked up on the rear bumper. I believe that's a strategy, though. I believe Kinger didn't have enough fuel to make it. He's trying to use the draft to get himself to the finish line. Zinn and McElvey still just lingering outside of the draft. Could be a battle for P1 and then a battle for final spot on the podium come down to the last lap. We got 2 laps to go in this one. Lemke now trying to make a move back around Bryce, trying to get that P5 back. Bryce able to hold on to it for now. Lemke might be getting a little nervous as we come up into the next set of corners here. That's where he just had his off. A lap to go. We'll see if he goes full send or if he is a little more tentative not to lose the back end like he had last time. So this is where it was. Last lap that he slid off. We'll see if he's able to hold on to it this time. Navigates through there nicely. Let's see if he gets the run. Not quite close enough to make a run into the next corner. He's going to have to try and utilize the high-speed bank section of the ovals. Oh, he gets a nice run through there, but has to back off. That's going to allow Bryce to get a jump out onto the ovals. Our leaders head through the bus stop, and they're going to head around, finish up lap number 25. I suspect we should be getting the white flag this time by. We'll have to take a look and see if Barney's got the flag out as we navigate through. There's Barney at the flag stand. We'll see if he is out. There it is, white flag. There goes our leaders. Into turn 1, Sosnowski holding on to that spot as it stands. Kinger not close enough to make a move. Sosnowski 0.3 of a gap between he and Kinger, first and second place. Zinn holding on to third, although McElvee's got that gap down to 3/10 too as well. Last lap battle coming up here as our leaders head into the horseshoe sections of the infield. Anything can happen here. We saw Lemke moments ago have a little bit of an issue with the back end. Our two leaders navigate through there problem free. They're going to head on to the oval section now. We'll see if that McLaren's got anything to offer for the Porsche up ahead on the banking section. To go on board with Kinger, you can see the leader Sosnowski up ahead, 3/10 between them. Fuel level's got to be getting real low on Kinger's car. He needs to utilize this draft as much as possible as they head into the bus stop. No move from Kinger into the bus stop. He's going to hold on to P2. Oh, was that sputtering we heard from Kinger's car? Oh, no, maybe it's... thought maybe it sounded like the engine was sputtering. Oh, here we go. Going for the move. This one could come down to the line. Here we go. Kinger makes the move. Oh, Sosnowski's going to hold on to it, and he'll take P1. Nice try by Kinger at the end. I think he just ran out of fuel there at the end. We'll see Wesley Bryce able to hold off Roman Bykoff. You see Roman moving up into P6. Not sure what happened. Lemke's falling back to P7 now. Corey Mitchell trying to hold off Ty Johnson at the line. Ty trying to make a move. Corey going to... oh, Ty's going to get him at the line. Nice move there. Corey tried to pinch him off as low as he could. And Jeremy Littleton is going to finish up just outside the top 10, currently in P11. It's a nice recovery from Jeremy. Can't really ask for much more than that after his earlier issue. Josh Sheps going to come in right behind him. John Cooper trying to make a move around Chris Gargano at the end. Chris Gargano is going to hold on to that spot. Nice battle between them at the line. We pick up Mark Sherman. He's got Greg Brockway in tow. They're going to come around to finish up. We still got a few more drivers on track. All right, we got Arthur Remius heading to the line now. Thomas Wright up on the banking. He's got Mark Bray coming around now. I'm not sure if Thomas got enough fuel to get to the line. Looks like he's having to just coast as we see Mark Bray zoom by him. John Casey's going to zoom by too as well. Thomas Wright coasting to the line just enough to get there. So that was we had a nice exciting finish there. That's I had a feeling it was going to come down to fuel mileage and fuel savings at the end for Kinger. I had an inkling that once he ducked in behind to use the draft that was the issue. So let's take a look at the final results. As you see, Chad Sosnowski brings it home on the podium. Jason Kinger is going to have to settle for P2 in this one, although he led the majority of the race of this one, but nothing wrong with a P2. Brian Zinn's going to bring it home. Final spot on the podium. Daniel McElvey in fourth. Wesley Bryce rounds out the top 5. Roman Bykoff with a strong run moves up into P6. Brian Lemke is going to bring it home 7th. Kelly Greenhill with a strong run into P8. Ty Johnson just nips Corey Mitchell at the line there to take home P9. Corey's going to finish up final spot in the top 10. Jeremy Littleton recovers up to P11. Josh Sheps brings it home 12th. Derek Tyndall in 13th. Mark Miller in 14th. Chris Gargano rounds out the top 15. Jonathan Cooper looking in at the top 15 from 16th spot. Mark Sherman in 17th. Greg Brockway is going to bring it home in 18th. Then we got Arthur Remus in 19th. Mark Bray in 20th. John Casey in 21st. Thomas Wright in 22nd, and then we get into our lap down cars of Oz Exulu and Kent Kruger, and then our cars that did not see the finish line, unfortunately for them. So there we go. That was a surprise broadcast for the league. Fortunately, we had that little bit of a power issue in the middle where we lost power in my neighborhood here, but quickly came back on and we powered back through. Fortunately, I don't have many of the incidents because of that one, so we can't really do a chaos theory, but we'll be ready for the next time. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you all next time, and I hope you enjoy this surprise broadcast of the Apex this GT3 Sunday racing. Bye for now.